What happens when a routine military flight becomes a terrifying brush with the unbelievable? When four seasoned Army aviators, flying high above the quiet Ohio landscape, find themselves on a collision course with an object that defies all logic and explanation? If you find stories of the strange and unexplained as fascinating as we do, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss the chilling tales we have in store. Tonight, we delve into one of the most credible and well-documented UFO encounters in history. This isn't a story from a shaky, unverified source. This is a case backed by multiple military witnesses, official reports, and physical evidence that has baffled experts for decades. It's the story of a night when a U.S. Army helicopter crew stared directly into the face of the unknown, and the unknown stared back. This is the story of the Coyne helicopter incident, October 18, 1973. For the four-man crew of a U.S. Army Reserve Bell UH-1H Huey helicopter, it was the end of a long but routine day. The crew, commanded by Captain Lawrence J. Coyne, a 36-year-old pilot with 19 years of flying experience, was based in Cleveland, Ohio. The other members of his crew were First Lieutenant Arrigo Jezzi, Sergeant Robert Yanaksek, and Sergeant John Healy. Earlier that day, they had flown to Columbus for their regularly scheduled flight physicals. Now, under the vast, dark expanse of the Ohio sky, they were heading home. The time was 10:30 p.m. when their Huey lifted off from the tarmac at Port Columbus International Airport. The weather was perfect for flying, a clear, star-filled, cloudless night with visibility stretching for over 15 miles. The air was calm. As they established their cruising altitude of 2,500 feet, the mood in the cockpit was relaxed. The physicals had gone well, and everyone was in perfect health and, as would later be noted in official reports, completely sober. It was just another flight, another night in a long line of uneventful flights. Shortly after 11 p.m., the helicopter was soaring over the dark, rural landscape near Mansfield, approaching the shimmering expanse of Charles Mill Lake. Sergeant Yanaksek, sitting by the right-hand window, was the first to see it. A single, bright red light off to the east. At first, it seemed unremarkable. It could have been a distant radio tower or another aircraft. He watched it for a minute, noting that it appeared to be keeping pace with them, flying parallel to their course. But then, it changed. The red light suddenly veered, breaking its parallel path and making a direct turn toward the helicopter. It was now on a collision course. Yanaksek shouted, alerting the rest of the crew. Captain Coyne, a veteran pilot not easily rattled, immediately assessed the situation. His first thought was that it must be a jet from Mansfield Lahm Air National Guard Base. He grabbed the radio and contacted the control tower at Mansfield. Mansfield Tower, this is Army 1544. We have a red light on a collision course. Do you have any traffic in our area? The reply from the tower was calm but unhelpful. They acknowledged Coyne's transmission but stated they had no other aircraft on their radar. There was nothing out there, but Coyne and his crew could see it with their own eyes. The red light was closing in fast, far too fast for a conventional aircraft. Panic began to creep into the cockpit. Coyne, relying on his years of training, took decisive action. He grabbed the controls from his co-pilot, Jezzi, and pushed the helicopter into a steep emergency dive, dropping at a rate of 2,000 feet per minute. It was a drastic maneuver, designed to get them out of the path of the oncoming object. He kept his eyes fixed on the red light, which continued to bear down on them, seemingly unaffected by their change in altitude. He braced for impact, a sickening feeling in the pit of his stomach. This was it. He closed his eyes, every muscle in his body tensed for the violent collision he knew was coming. But it never came. There was no crash, no explosion, no tearing of metal. Only a sudden, strange silence. Then he heard Sergeant Healy's voice, filled with a mixture of terror and awe. "Look at that!" Coyne opened his eyes. What he saw would be seared into his memory for the rest of his life. Hovering directly in front of and above their helicopter was not an airplane. It was a massive, gray, metallic, cigar-shaped object, approximately 60 feet long. It had no wings, no tail, and made no sound. The brilliant red light they had been tracking was positioned on its nose. A steady white light glowed from its tail. And then, the belly of the craft opened up, or so it seemed, and a third light appeared. A brilliant, intense green beam shot out from the bottom of the object and swept down over the helicopter. It passed over the Huey's nose, then moved up, flooding the entire cockpit with an eerie green luminescence. The crew was bathed in the light, which was so bright it turned the red interior lights of the cockpit a pale green. It felt, as Coyne would later report, like the object was scanning them, examining every detail of their helicopter and its occupants. As the green light filled the cabin, the helicopter's instruments went haywire. The radio, which had been working moments before, was now dead. The magnetic compass began to spin wildly, completely useless. But the most terrifying discovery was yet to come. Coyne glanced at the altimeter. His heart stopped. Despite the fact that he was still pushing the controls forward, forcing the helicopter into a dive, the altimeter showed that they were climbing. The helicopter, which should have been descending at 2,000 feet per minute, was now rising at a rate of 1,000 feet per minute. It had ascended from its original altitude of 2,500 feet and was now passing 3,500 feet and still going up. It was as if some invisible force had taken control of their aircraft, lifting it toward the silent, cigar-shaped craft against all laws of physics and aerodynamics. Coyne was no longer in control of his own helicopter. For what felt like an eternity, but was likely only a few seconds, the four men were held captive, bathed in the green light, being pulled upward toward the silent, mysterious object. They were helpless, passengers in their own aircraft. Then, as suddenly as it began, the encounter was over. The green light retracted back into the craft. The object began to move away, first slowly, then accelerating at an incredible speed. It turned toward the northwest, and in a blink, it was gone, disappearing over the horizon toward Lake Erie. As the object vanished, the helicopter was released from its grip. The controls responded to Coyne's input once more. The green glow was gone. The crew, shaken and disoriented, took a moment to process what had just happened. They were alive. They had survived. Coyne leveled the helicopter and they continued their flight to Cleveland, the silence in the cockpit heavy with the weight of their shared, unbelievable experience. Upon landing, they immediately noticed one lasting physical effect of the encounter. The helicopter's magnetic compass, which had been spinning uncontrollably during the incident, was now completely broken. It couldn't be repaired. The entire unit had to be replaced. This piece of physical evidence lent significant weight to their incredible story. Captain Coyne filed a detailed report of the incident with the Army. The case was investigated by various UFO organizations, including the Center for UFO Studies, CUFOS. Because of the multiple credible military witnesses, the detailed official report, and the physical evidence of the broken compass, the Coyne helicopter incident is widely regarded as one of the most compelling UFO cases in history. It has been featured in numerous books, documentaries, and articles, and is often referred to as the Mansfield encounter. The official explanation was never definitive. Suggestions ranged from a meteor to a misidentified conventional aircraft, but none could fully account for the dramatic and physics-defying details of the crew's report, especially the helicopter's inexplicable ascent. The crew members stood by their story for the rest of their lives, their testimony unwavering. They were four military professionals who found themselves in a situation that their extensive training could never have prepared them for. They came face to face with a technology that was, and remains, completely unknown. What did the crew of Army Helicopter 1544 encounter in the skies over Ohio? Was it a secret military craft, a natural phenomenon, or something else entirely? The questions remain, and the Coin helicopter incident endures as a chilling reminder that we may not be alone, and that sometimes the sky holds secrets far stranger than we can imagine. What do you think happened that night? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.